The thing people love most about our platform, or the things partners love most, is the fact you can spin up a user quickly. You can get them going quickly. You can start billing your customer quickly. You've still got that education piece though, and we have the Nebula Training Academy, and it's everything from how to use the portal to how to set stuff up to, as we roll out, new features and new add-ons that they can monetize. That gives them the confidence to go out and sell it confidently as well.
Hello, I'm James Goulding, editor of Technology Reseller Magazine, and I'm here today with Simon Blackwell, Chief Marketing Officer, and James Lockhart, Head of Product at Nebula, a SaaS provider of workplace communication software. Simon, James, good to have you here today.
Morning.
Hi there.
To start with, perhaps you could give a quick sort of intro to Nebula for people who don't know the company, your history, your products, and your target markets.
Yeah, so we're a sort of workplace communications business, primarily in the UCaaS space. We've been in and around this space for about 9 years now in sort of various guises. We are a channel-focused business. We've got about 600 plus channel resellers, everything from sort of small SME-focused resellers to larger MSPs. And we've got about 200,000 end users on the platform, predominantly through those channel partners.
One of the things I noticed from your marketing is the wording from telco to techco. Could you explain that and what the significance of that is for your channel partners?
Yeah, so we find in our space a lot of the solutions are primarily open source based, right? So they're based on platforms like Asterisk and Kamalio, and there's a huge amount of open source. There's a huge amount of sort of upcycling, and what you end up with are these sort of patchwork solutions that all sort of derive from the same underlying platform. And that really sort of architecturally gives you a lot of limitations for the long term in terms of how you can develop your product, how you can differentiate, how quickly you can build, how securely you can build. And so for us, we really wanted to be quite unique in terms of being an IP owner and owning our own technology stack. And so back in 2022, we took a majority private equity investment from a London-based fund called Queen's Park Equity. And that enabled us to sort of go out and acquire our own IP, which we did the same year. We bought a business called Yay.com. And what's really unique about Yay.com is it owns its own IP. It's ground up, its own design, its own code base. And that really makes it the master of its own destiny, which kind of made us sort of the masters of our own destiny and enabled us to move from open source solutions that we'd built beforehand to 100% proprietary IP. So we've gone from this traditional telco model to a real full SaaS model. And that's really quite unique for us, especially in this market. And really, if you want an IP owner and you're in the UK, you're predominantly probably buying an American product. You're not buying a British product.
So how has this sort of affected the development of your platform?
Sure. Yeah. So, I mean, the ethos for us as a business is what we're talking about when we talk about going from telco to techco. And that means that we see ourselves as a true SaaS house where every line of code is written by our own developers in our own offices. It allows us to pivot for our partners in ways that is seeing them have pretty unprecedented success in certain niche areas, particularly. We can pivot our roadmap how we choose, when we choose. We can adapt to real world opportunities as they arise. It's just made us far more agile as a vendor.
Can you give some examples of how you've done this for your partners?
So I guess two of the biggest areas for us is around our ability to integrate with particularly CRMs and vertical specific software tools that maybe aren't broad enough for some of the larger players to want to invest that time and effort in. Some of the American examples that Si mentioned earlier. So what that gives our partners the opportunity to do is build something that is entirely bespoke through us in those kind of integration spaces. And secondly, we're actually able to build features that meet specific use cases that, again, possibly would be underserved by some of the larger global players. One of the areas where we've seen some really impressive growth from some of our partners is in the managed office space. So we've built tools for them to allow bridging between accounts so that they can have on-net calls, messages and presence shared between companies who are owned by the same reseller, but actually operate as individual businesses.
So I guess sort of integration is actually key to this transition.
So there are probably three key pillars for us when we talk about, moving from telco to techco. So the first pillar is CX tools or customer experience tools. That is enabling particularly SMEs to have access to contact center features where in past times, they probably wouldn't have had the ability to deploy them commercially. They would have been too expensive, and they were generally built for a broader scale of organization. So that's the first pillar. The second pillar for us is around integrations. So that's allowing, again, predominantly SMEs to have access to that kind of ecosystem of SaaS tools, from CRMs to their communications platform to, things like single sign-on, where in the past they may not have been able to do that. And then thirdly, particularly, with integrations as well being part of this, is vertical propositions. So in the past, our industry would have talked about verticalization, and actually what they really meant was industry landing pages with some of the right language to draw that customer in. But actually that's not enough anymore. And so that proposition includes everything from, building the communications tools that we offer into the workflows that they already have. It's about understanding the compliance and the user journey aspects of the business, the pain points that they have. And it's also about building full commercial propositions as well. For some of these industries, the general business model that traditionally UCaaS providers go to market with is no longer sufficient. It doesn't scale in the right way because the usage patterns are different. So, for us, those are the three sort of key pillars when we talk about.
So I guess, Simon, this is a weird question for you. Are there particular sort of areas of the market that are responding to this proposition?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're predominantly a channel business, and all of our sort of intelligent sales, if you like, are done, more solution sale are done through channel partners. That's why partners exist. So we're definitely seeing there are some verticals that are more active than others, and that might be in some part just due to the partners who work with us, but we spend a lot of time working with industry analysts as well. So that helps us sense check the direction of what we're doing. It helps James sense check and validate his roadmap choices as well, because it just gives us access to broader sets of data. We know that healthcare is a big traditional, play for MSPs. You don't need an analyst to tell you that. It's pretty straightforward. But we're seeing a lot more specialisms around recruitment and integrations with recruitment-specific CRMs. We're seeing it in residential lettings and sales as well. We're seeing it in managed office spaces. So there's some really unique industries out there that have CRMs and workflow tools that are specific just to them. And owning our own code base means that we can go out and we can build that stuff really, really quickly, and we can really respond to a partner who is active in a particular market and give them something to differentiate.
Yeah. The other thing is, as more and more industries have ecosystems of tools that are built purely for them, the broader the options that they have, the more complex the deployments become, the greater the compliance aspects. And that's why we're actually seeing pretty impressive growth, particularly in the channel space. Those trusted providers to supply everything from comms tools through to software, through to cyber, the whole package. They want to go to one provider where the whole package can be bought, as a solution sell, as I said.
With the ability to adapt to new technologies like AI, obviously.
Of course.
How is AI impacting your sort of product set, and what sort of future roadmap do you think is going to be in this sector?
There's no unified communications provider in our space who is not either deploying or working on deploying AI. That's a given, and we're no different. We've spent quite a lot of this year fleshing out a proposition that we want to go to market with in 2026. But as Si said, the ethos for us as a true SaaS house is that we want to own as much of the product as we can. So unlike a lot of our competitors, it's not enough for us to just rely on tokens, sending call data out to public models. We want to host LLMs in our own infrastructure, on our own GPUs, and we want to make sure that what we can provide to our partners is scalable, it's cost effective, but most importantly, we really want to protect their data and the data of their customers. So for us, it's been a huge part of our roadmap for 2026. Obviously, as a predominantly voice provider, the bulk of what we're doing is around voice transcription and the data that comes off of those transcriptions. So that's everything from sentiment analysis through to call summaries. Live agent assistance is a really important one for us to get in 2026, all the way through to, fully fledged voice agents that can handle queries and actually action those queries in some cases. But what's cool for us as a provider is what we're learning is the speech recognition models that we want to utilize, depending on the use case, depending on the feature that we want to build off them, we're going to be reliant on a number of different models to meet the requirements of the customer. Because in one instance, like sentiment analysis, the accuracy of the data is pivotal. So the most important thing for us is word error rate. And that means that it might be a high GPU cost and it might impact the latency to some degree. Whereas on a live agent assistance, the absolute most important thing for us to nail is the latency of the model. So, it's been a really cool year for us as a product geek, getting under the hood of that and making sure that what we build for our partners and their end customers, is fit for purpose.
And having your own IP must be a great differentiator in that space.
Well, I think so. And as I've already mentioned, the compliance aspects of AI are quite robust, along with other, telecommunications compliance. We're seeing Ofcom crack down in a number of areas. So I think the important thing for us, and this is less about IP ownership, it's more about data ownership and data sovereignty. We want to make sure that the data doesn't leave our control. We're not shipping data off to third-party solutions to do the transcription and send it back to us. That's probably what is most unique for us.
Yeah. So how are you helping your partners to sort of maximize the opportunities in your market, particularly some might have come from the IT side and won't be familiar with voice, and presumably there might be some voice resellers who aren't particularly au fait with all the adaptations you can do with your system?
Yeah, it's really mixed. It's certainly very mixed with our base of partners, those that are very familiar and those that are new to it as well. I think those that are new to it because it's traditionally been quite complicated. For us, it's very much, click to deploy. We always talk about click to deploy. I mean, James always talks about the fact that the thing people love most about our platform, or the things partners love most, is the fact you can spin up a user quickly. You can get them going quickly. You can start billing your customer quickly, which is so, so important. And I think you've still got that education piece though. And we have, the Nebula Training Academy, which is something we've had in various guises for pretty much the whole time that we've been around. We've in fact, we were, at an event recently, we were talking about it. We've had 800 people go through that training academy this year. And it's everything from how to use the portal to how to set stuff up to, as we roll out, new features and new add-ons that they can monetize. Like, we've recently launched a whole analytics package, where, our competitors, are having to bolt on other products to that to make that happen. It's all in-house for us. You still need to train the partner. You still need to get them familiar with it. That gives them the confidence to go out and sell it confidently as well. So we have a really, really detailed training program that, on all aspects. And even, as James was saying about the changes to regulation now, we do things like compliance training, keeping partners abreast of the latest Ofcom requirements, because, we all have skin in that game. We all have a responsibility. So it's a huge education piece on us, but it's one that I think we do well and one that partners turn up for, and they turn up again and again. So it's definitely well received, and it's a key part of our proposition.
Excellent. You mentioned the event you recently had. What have been some of your highlights from 2025?
So 2025, obviously, we've shared the same economic headwinds as the whole industry and the whole country. But actually, it's been a pretty impressive year for us. We're really happy with how 2025 has gone. We've maintained a growth trajectory, both in terms of our revenue and our profit. And most importantly, that's allowed us to invest in our teams. I work with a really talented development team that has doubled in size in this 12 months, which, is fantastic. And we've done that against the backdrop of migrating almost 100,000 users from a third-party platform through to our own IP. So 2025 for us has been fantastic, and it's a testament to the growth that our partner community has seen, because obviously we're tethered to their success.
And what are your sort of plans for 2026?
2026 is going to be a very different year for us. As James mentioned, we've migrated the best part of 100,000 people, but that's kind of business we had to business we have. So, it's been a year focused on bringing everything into our tech stack for us. As opposed to a new business focus, albeit we've put nearly 50,000 net new users onto the platform as well. But next year is really focusing on two key things. One is partner growth, bringing new partners in, and it's not a volume game, it's a quality of partner for us. And we have a number of new business salespeople that have come into the business to help us drive that. But of course, their ability to drive that is due in part to James's team and the product roadmap and making sure that we are delivering on our commitments around new features that enable our partners to differentiate, and features that they can monetize, and build their recurring revenue.
If potential partners want to find out more, what should they do?
They can find us just about anywhere. They can find us on LinkedIn through Nebula. They can find us at CoreSwitch1.com as well. So there's plenty of information on there. It's very easy to get in touch with the team.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for your comments. Sounds there's a lot to look forward to next year.
Hope so, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I hope you found it interesting too. And if you want any more information, just get in touch with Nebula.